Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Beyond the Forecast on this Thursday, March 5th, 2026. I'm StormTracker8 forecaster Tyler Hall here, and today I'm along with our chief meteorologist. I was going to say brought to you by, but anyway,
it's all good.
I'm with Matty D. Matt, how you doing?
How do you be bad on a day like today, right? It's so gorgeous out there. We were just talking about that off the air. I mean, you know, it's one of these days, if you're inside, you got to find a way to get outside, even for a little while.
Yeah, we have a really nice back patio area at 8 News, and every once in a while I like to step out there and just breathe in the fresh air, and yeah, today is a really nice afternoon for sure.
You know, you say breathe in the fresh air, then somebody else goes, yeah, breathe in the pollen, you mean, right? Because pollen is, you know, and it's going to be insane for the weekend as well. But then, you know what? Look, I'll take it because at least that means we're changing seasons.
Yeah, that's right. Changing seasons for sure. And with the changing of seasons, that does come with obviously different weather threats in other parts of the country. One being severe weather potentially through tonight in the middle of the country. We'll get into that. Along with that, there's also ongoing fire weather concerns for parts of the southwestern part of the United States in particular. And, of course, the really nice weather that we started to see yesterday and we'll continue to see for a while.
Yeah, one of the things I have to say, when you mentioned the fire weather, we're talking about the western part of the United States, as we go through spring here, and, you know, we've been very fortunate. We've had some decent rain recently.
Yeah.
But if we go into a dry spell and we have all this dry brush on the ground, we might get into a mini fire weather season here, which we often do in spring. So it'll be something that we'll continue to watch as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I know in recent weeks we have made some improvements with the drought, but it's still severe in western and southwestern parts of the state. Yeah, that's correct. Right. As of the latest update. Correct. So, all right, getting into today in weather history, 2012, so not too long ago, there was a brief wintry event here in Central Virginia, Matt, where 2 to 4 inches of snow fell.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it just goes to show, right? I mean, even though we're in March and all of a sudden we're talking about 70s out there, maybe near 80 at some times this week, she still can get snow this time of year. We've seen it before, so don't put your guard down. You know, somebody asked me, "Are we done with the frost and the freeze in the mornings? Because I want to get out and plant." Way too early for that right now.
Yeah,
you know, it's
I
just
agree with
you
that.
you get that spring fever. Hold on for a long time, folks. Yeah, wait.
Yeah, because late next week, we're going to be in for some big changes, which, of course, we'll be talking about.
Right.
Okay, so getting into the big picture of things, and I'll take this full. So what's been interesting yesterday and today is this boundary over North Virginia and also, Northern Virginia and Maryland has been bringing a huge temperature spread. D.C. has been struggling temperature-wise in the 40s and the 50s. Meanwhile, we're in the 70s. We do have some ongoing showers in the Ohio Valley, it looks like, this afternoon. And we do have some snow out in the higher elevations of the West, Matt.
Yeah, you can see there's two systems. Obviously, you just point out the one, and then the one coming into Rapid City now. That's giving some mountain snows to Montana. You mentioned dry, by the way. I was talking to a friend of mine in Montana, and they have not seen any appreciable snow this winter. They didn't have their usual rains in the fall, so they are in a major problem for droughts as we head into the summer, which is a dry time for them. But look, back to us. I mean, we are on the right side of the warm front, maybe the south side, and that's why it feels so good. Yeah,
we have that high pressure anchored off of the western Atlantic, pumping in that moisture. So, yeah, very spring-like across Central Virginia. Good stuff. So as we talked about at the top of this show, there is a severe weather potential here. So yesterday there was one in the middle of the country. Through tonight we have another one, particularly in parts of Texas and Oklahoma, Matt.
So when we go back to that previous map, we don't have to go back, but I'm just saying, if you recall, we had that cold front stretching from Rapid City all the way down to the front range of the Rockies, and there's some good cold air aloft with that, right? So now we have a lot of southerly winds ahead. We have that moisture, so we get the storms to grow. And when we have that real cold air aloft, we really start to see the potential for tremendous hail development, which is an early spring thing, and that's what we're going to be talking about with these storms out in Oklahoma and North Texas. Hail could be, I think you were mentioning earlier, just like golf ball, baseball size hail possible.
Here it is right here. So potentially upwards of a hen egg size. So, egg size hail, that's pretty significant, and that's going to do some damage.
Yeah, for sure, right? So, I mean, this is a severe weather outbreak that we'll be watching, from afar. Like, we'll watch it here and see how things are developing, and we'll talk about this throughout tonight and tomorrow, of course, either on Beyond the Forecast or even our news, because if it becomes a major hail event, it becomes a big news story as well.
Right, because big hail leads to big damage, and that leads to issues with infrastructure as well down there. Yeah, exactly. So something we'll be watching from afar, as you said, and also there is a wind threat with this, but it's not as high. Sure. I will say the hail threat is the highest through tonight. This is, again, basically, 58 miles per hour and higher, so severe thunderstorm warning criteria, if you will, for these areas in Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas along that weather system in the middle of the country. And then also there is a isolated tornado threat here, Matt, as well.
I mean, look, 10% chance, to 5% chance is a pretty decent chance of, so 1 in 20, 1 in 10 is the possibility, in a severe thunderstorm. So that's a good number. It's not extreme like we will see later in the months. And by the way, since we're talking about severe weather, just to remind people that next week is the Severe Weather Awareness Week here in Central Virginia. Right. And all week long on Beyond the Forecast, we'll be talking about things that you just mentioned, like what exactly is a severe thunderstorm? What's the criteria? What's the difference between a watch and a warning? We'll go through all that. And Tuesday, by the way, is the tornado drill that's done statewide, and kids in schools practice that because they do one at the beginning of the year and they do one at Severe Weather Week. So always important to know what's going on because severe weather can happen at any time.
Yeah, and, spring definitely brings that potential. We're in a transition time of year. Yep. And it's just a really good refresher for folks when we talk about watches, warnings, tornado watches and warnings, severe thunderstorm watches and warnings, flash flooding as well, and hail. So just a really good refresher, and we'll be talking about that all next week.
All next week. There you go. So what are we talking about next? Oh,
now, the fire.
Yeah, fire,
Yeah, so the fire weather concerns, there's a dry line here, so that feature between Texas and New Mexico. So basically it's a barrier between a lot of moist air and then a lot of dry air.
Yeah, and so the nubs point to where the moist air is and where the dry air is moving to. So the dry air is behind this, right? So
correct.
Just because this is not something you see on a daily weather map in Virginia at all, right?
No.
The dry lines are really a Texas and plains thing. So, and it can lead to severe weather, or in this case, it can lead to very strong winds, which could create widespread fire issues because that air is so dry.
Yeah, and I was looking at it, the drought situation out there, there are some areas that are dealing with a severe drought. So, they could definitely use some more moisture.
And unfortunately, that's just not really in the cards, right? That's a big problem.
Right. They're seeing the opposite, which is a deficit, so not good for them. Okay, so looking at the rest of today, we're not calling for any showers here in Central Virginia, so definitely get outside and enjoy it. You notice that we're enjoying this ridge, so this bulge in the jet stream, hence the well above average temperatures. Meanwhile, out west, though, they're dealing with the opposite, what we call a trough.
Yep, and that's where that cold air is locked up in. That's why we're talking about the potential for the 2 to 3 inch hail we were just looking at a few minutes ago.
Right, and as we take it into tomorrow, that trough out west deepens more. And I know there's another severe weather potential on Friday afternoon, Friday evening, which we'll talk about on tomorrow's show. But we continue to enjoy this ridge tomorrow and also on Saturday, Matt.
Yeah, and again, ridge means warmth for us. And I know on the past the 2 Futurecasts, we've paused it twice. You see the green near Virginia. That's going to be for really some spotty showers at best, and probably more toward the mountains than into Central Virginia.
Right.
But one of the things that we'll be curious to see, because we are getting so warm so fast, we often can just pop a quick shower, kind of think of it like a summertime thunderstorm, right? Because we've gone from 30s and 40s early in the week to possibly 80 by tomorrow and Saturday. So that may allow us to just get one of those, little cloud bursts or quick showers, I should say. Yeah.
Right. And speaking of the rain, this is through tonight. So again, we're not seeing any showers here across Central Virginia, but along that boundary that is over Northern Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia, they're going to be dealing with a little bit more in the way of rain through tonight.
Yeah, everything is staying north of that warm front, and so that's where you have those issues there. Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so moving on, the above normal warmth, this is what everyone's talking about, of course. Yesterday we got to 73 degrees, and today we're going to do better, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're already, you were doing the noon. Were we at 72 at noon or something like that?
Yeah, 72, 73, something like that.
So, I mean, already we're doing better, and it's only going to go up. And again, this continues, and we'll show this in a bit, all the way through next Thursday. But next Thursday, there's some major changes coming.
Yeah, we do have a bit of a change happening by late next week and next weekend as a stronger weather system is going to be pushing on through.
And then you see the cooler air back over the Great Lakes. Now you see we're kind of in between, meaning we're back to normal, but there are some signs that that cooler air slides over us for next weekend. So again, we're not talking going back to the Arctic chill,
right,
but we'll be, instead of having 70s for highs, the average high should be 55, by the way. We might be 50 for a high, or maybe 48 for a high, something like that. So.
Right, yeah, something to watch for sure. We look ahead to the weekend, of course. Saturday morning, we've been talking about it a lot in recent weeks. We're a sponsor for that River City Half Marathon and 5K race Saturday morning, and the temperature is going to be really nice for running in the low 50s.
Yeah, you'll be probably sitting in the low to mid 50s at 7 a.m. when the race begins, or people gathering. But it really should be perfect weather to run, so enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was seeing, and I kind of updated this a little bit for noon, a scattered chance for some showers on Sunday as a weather system is going to be coming on through.
Right. And the showers that you had there for Saturday are more late evening, late night. So that lingers into Sunday. The majority of your Saturday is going to be partly sunny, which will be great. Yeah. Right.
And yesterday I did some digging into the weather data, and I'm going to be doing more of that later on today. But our last 80-degree day or higher in Richmond was back on October 8th of last fall. So it's been about 5 months, Matt. That's incredible.
And, I think people will be very happy. I mean, they seem to be very happy right now that we're in the 70s, so hitting 80 would be really cool. And then October 5th to 8th, 2025, we had a 4-day stretch of 80 or better.
Yeah.
So that kind of was a nice little thing. And look, we had some great weather in the fall, and then winter came, and all of a sudden it was like, what just happened here? So.
Yeah, definitely a pretty notable winter for sure, with the handful of winter storms, a lot of very cold mornings, cold days. So we have turned the page, that's for sure, as we look at the 8-day forecast looking pretty phenomenal for the rest of the work week for sure.
And let's enjoy it because once we get to next Thursday, you see those thunderstorms there. That's that powerful cold front. And again, we're not talking really anything severe. We're just looking at a change. And then you see that high on Thursday is 70. That might be somewhat early in the day. We may see the temperatures fall. It's a little far out to really get a good gauge, but we do know that cooler air will be coming in for Friday and the upcoming weekend. But we're talking next weekend. So from now through 7 days, those temperatures are incredible.
Yeah, they are incredible. Well above average, as you said earlier. We should be around 55 for average highs, and we're going to see some very comfortable overnights into the next mornings as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So good stuff there. And coming up later today, Matt will have an updated look at the ongoing spring-like weather, an updated look at, those races Saturday morning, the weather for that. And obviously, we got to remind folks that we got to spring forward our clocks as well this weekend.
Yeah, and so just with that, let me just point out, because I love to say this, right? Good time to change the batteries in your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. You should do it about every 6 months. So when you're moving clocks, just walk around, swap out some batteries. Some people run those lithium batteries now so they last a little bit longer. Those can go, about a year or two. But, if you have the old alkaline, just please make sure you change them out.
Yeah, absolutely. Great reminder there. And we'll be reminding you that over the next couple of days. But definitely get outside after work and school and enjoy the beautiful spring-like weather.